Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Amber Living Vlog. This is Beyond Film School, and I am Amber, and today we're talking about if you belong in the film world or film industry. I just want to thank everyone for commenting on my videos, and this video pretty much is going to be like me answering a lot of comments that I get on my videos, and I feel like the number one question is like, should I be in the film industry? Am I too old to be in the film industry? Is it too late? Do I have the right skills? Should I have the right degrees? Do I need to go to film school? There's all these things that people think that they need, or these like prerequisites in order to be in the film industry, and I feel like it's time to put that at ease, so this is why I made this video. I think the first one I'm going to tackle is age, because I feel like I'm very sensitive about age. I don't tell people how old I am. I'm pretty sure you can scrounge around and figure out how old I am on like my social media pages and all that jazz. But people always think they're either, too young, which is funny because I get people who are 16, 17, 18 thinking like, am I too young to try and jump on set to be a production assistant on union set? I feel like as long as you're 18, because that means you're actually legal, as long as you're 18, you can work on a film set. I also get the people who have been in careers for 10 years and then they're like, F this job, I don't want to be in it anymore, and they want to kind of start a new career, and they're like, I really like film, is it for me? Am I too old to do it? Like 20s, sometimes they're like late 30s. I've gotten all types of people thinking, can we actually get into the film industry with how old I am? The easy answer is this: yes, you can. I don't think it matters how old you are. As long as you are healthy, you have the physical ability to do the job, then it shouldn't matter. And if you're of sound mind. Along with that, like, I'm going to tell you, yes, you can do it with age, but there are people who are like, well, how do I do that? Because some people really do try to make the transition from like their 9-to-5 job, and they're like, okay, I want to get into the film industry, and they don't know how to do it. This is what I did. I had a flexible job, so because I knew I wanted to not just be a weekend like indie film person. I wanted to try and get on the union sets because union sets shoot Monday to Friday. I got a job that I knew, and I told them in advance, I'm like, hey, just before you hire me, just so you know this, I work in film, and sometimes I will need like a couple days off in a row, or you might not see me for a month or something like that, where I wasn't like totally vital to their workplace. But I was good enough where they kept bringing me back, so when I don't have indie film work or union work, I always go back to that job just in case. So that's one thing, finding a flexible job, which is kind of hard, and this is why people work in the service, like the food and beverage industry. Another way to do it is the weekend indie film thing, and this is keeping your job from 9 to 5, and you look for indie gigs on the weekend, and you work Saturday and Sunday, and you keep building from there. I've heard different stories where they kept getting more work and they added Friday. So they only worked Monday to Thursday, and then they did Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's pretty much like working nonstop. If you're not ready to work nonstop, you might not be ready to work in the film industry. I think the biggest fear is that there are people on set that are going to judge you because you're older and you're just starting out. And you really have to just not care about that shit. You really just gotta be like, you know what, I'm trying to live my life, and this is what I want to do, and these are the goals I'm trying to hit. So don't worry about, whether or not you think people are going to judge you for being older. And this is the main reason why I don't tell people how old I am, because I don't want people to be like, oh, you're this, and automatically in their mind they're thinking, oh, this person is at this age, they should be at this stage in their life. And really, it's no one's fucking business what stage you are in your life. So I always keep my age to myself. You need all types of people in filmmaking, so just remember that. Another kind of category that people fall in, is it too hard? It's too challenging. It's not even just like the film industry not wanting you, it's like, can you hack it? Can you take everything that the film industry does to your life? Some people want to get into filmmaking because of the glamour and the people they see and the stars that they might meet, and that's really the wrong reasons to get into filmmaking. You really should be getting into it because you love storytelling. And for me, I love filmmaking because it's so many people coming together to make one thing, and I love that like community part of filmmaking. So with that said, is it hard? Yes, filmmaking is very, very hard, and I don't want to sugarcoat that. And in my videos, if you've watched any of them, I try to give you like the the raw version of what filmmaking is really like. So It's very, very hard. It's very long hours. You don't get a lot of sleep. You get very, very stressed. You meet all types of people. Some you're not gonna get along with and some you're just gonna fall in love with, you know? So it can go either way. But I feel like filmmaking is extreme. Either it extremely sucks or it's like the best. I mean, it's really, really cool, all the cool things you get to see. But on the flip side of that, it's like, can you survive on 3 hours of sleep? Can you survive and can you keep your cool when you have no sleep, you're stressed out, and you have no caffeine in your system because you haven't had breakfast yet or your coffee yet in the morning? Can you multitask? All these things you have to consider. I think that even if you're like, holy shit, this is so much I can't handle, I say at least try it, because there are those moments where you're like, God, I love this. It'll like recharge you. So it really depends. So can you hack it? That's the other one. That's, can you hack it? And some people will tell me, and they'll tell me in the comments, they're just like, no way am I working a 16-hour day, day after day. You know, I want my life. And that's the thing, that's the balance. Like, I've been on a show for like 5 months now, and I've noticed how I can't get to other things in my life. Whatever your hobby is, and you never get to it because you're always on set, like, it takes discipline to make sure you're saying, you know what, I need to make sure that I go for a run, or I have to wake up early, like that half hour earlier or something. It sounds so stupid, but you really do need the discipline to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and making sure that you can survive on set. I think this is a real small one, but I think it's important because there are so many people that relocate. And I think the question is, am I in the right place for my film career or to start a film career? And the big ones are New York City and LA. And I think that there are so many more places popping up where there's a film community. And I think people forget that arts, wherever there are people, there are going to be arts. And where there are arts, there's going to be people who want to make films. And there's going to be people who want to at least be storytellers. If you're in a smaller town, like I'm from Buffalo, and there's a pretty big film community there, and a big indie film, and they shoot so many more movies there now. And I mean, for example, in Jersey now they have like the new tax credit, and in Buffalo they have the tax credit now. So it's like, productions are moving. And for example, Better Call Saul shoots in like Albuquerque. It's not just like LA and New York, because sometimes those places can be so saturated where you won't even find a job. There are communities in smaller cities that you can engage and at least get your career ignited. And that's how I started. I started in Buffalo on indie sets and commercials, and I got on anything that was shooting in there while I was there to do as much as I could in film. So don't think that if you're not in the right spot, and I haven't even talked about Atlanta and Chicago, and you know, and I mean, they even shoot shows in Hawaii all the time. So it's like, there are so many places where movies shoot, even in DC, and I mean, there's so many different cities. I mean, Philly too. Philly is another one. And even if you're like a super small town, if you can figure out if there are people interested, which there's always going to be, start your own club, start your own film community, get together once a month. There are so many locations, there are so many cities, there are so many places that filmmaking and TV and web series and all that, that's where they shoot. So it's not just LA and New York. Don't think you're limited to those two places, because I feel like you're really selling yourself short, and sometimes it can be overwhelming for someone who's trying to relocate. Like, I knew a friend who I went to college with, and she was like, yeah, I want to do that. And she was super talented, but she just never made the jump. And she never really got far in Buffalo because she just, you know, she kind of was like thinking about the big move, and because the big move was so overwhelming, she just never started to make the first step, which is kind of, it's so sad when you think about it. But don't get overwhelmed and think you have to relocate across the country or relocate to a busy city you don't really like. I mean, when I first moved to New York, I didn't really like New York. I didn't want anything to do with New York, so I went all crazy and I was like, I'm gonna go to LA across the country. And I found out I didn't really like LA. So, and then I found that New York was more my speed because, I don't know, more genuine. We'll get into that later, why I like New York better than LA. But you don't have to move. You can start your own community if you want. Now, as far as paid jobs, you really have to think about the build and the ladder you're gonna do. Do you wanna start your own film festival? I mean, I know so many people who started their own film festival. I know so many people who started their own production company, and they started with weddings and commercials. There's so many things that you can get into as far as like, you know, filming and editing and just being a video person. There's so many things you can get into in this medium of camera, and starting your own YouTube channel, for God's sake. So location for me doesn't matter. If you're not in the right location, I don't think it should stop you from being a storyteller. a filmmaker or, you know, working in this medium at all. That was a real quick video on the top 3 things that I feel like hold people back: age, location, and whether or not they can actually handle a film industry. So a couple things I want to cover. I am going to be doing another production assistant training that is going to be March 9th. You can sign up now. There is no application process. You can just sign up, register. If you're in the New York City area, it's going to be one day, one nice full day, some portions outside, and there's going to, it involves walkie training, what to expect as a PA, what to expect on set, what people expect of you. Things going on my Facebook page, like my Facebook please, and my Beyond Film School Instagram. I will, you know, have you see what's going on in my world, and I try to post as much as I can. I have an ebook that I recently read that I think is pretty good. If you have no idea how to start in the film industry, this is pretty much step by step. It talks about resumes, it talks about where to go to find work, what to do. I mean, it's really so to the point in the details of what you should do to get your film career started. This is from Amy Clark Films, and she's overseas in the UK, but after reading it, I found it was like pretty much the same steps of what you would do in the UK, in the US, same thing. So that ebook is, that link is below. I think it's $20. I'm not even sure. So feel free, or you can just watch her videos on her YouTube, which I'll have a link to, or you can just watch mine to get all the free tips. Also on my website, Beyond Film School, I have resume tips there. I have networking events. Please go to them. If you feel like you have to expand your circle and you're not getting work, networking is how you're going to get work. So it's all free. Everything on my website is free, unless you want your resume, you know, revised and finalized. That is a charge. But I usually offer sometime during the year free revisions and free review of your resume, so I can hook you up and make sure you're getting those interviews and callbacks and stuff like that. Visit beyondfilmschool.com, and I don't know, I feel like it's all free. You could just go there and look. It's like, it's there for you. So I guess that's it. If you made it to the end of this video, you're a very beloved subscriber. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about what I talked about in the video today, please comment below, shoot me an email, find me, message me on Facebook. I'm always here to answer your questions. And that is it for today. I shall see you next time.